We now move on and we move over to South Asia. And 4 days after the horrific car explosion in India's capital of Delhi, near the popular tourist site of the Red Fort, investigators have made a massive breakthrough. A DNA test has confirmed that the man driving the vehicle laden with explosives was Pulwama-based Dr. Umar Nabi. The blast on the 10th of November claimed at least 13 lives and left many people injured. And now reports also suggest that some people are still battling for their lives. The involvement of the 36-year-old Dr. Umar Nabi from Jammu and Kashmir's Pulwama has now established a direct link between Haryana's Al-Fala University, which has been under the scanner in relation to the blast near the Red Fort. CCTV footage from about 50 locations showed that Dr. Umar had travelled through several areas of Delhi before reaching near the Red Fort complex on November the 10th. Now, here is what we know about Umar so far. Now, after completing his studies at Government Medical College in Srinagar, Umar worked as a senior resident at Government Medical College in Anantnag. He later moved to Delhi for another job. At the time of the terror attack, he was in fact employed as an assistant professor at Al-Fala University in Faridabad. At the Al-Fala University, they will now face the ED's scrutiny. Union Home Minister Amit Shah held a high-level meeting earlier today and has issued instructions to take action against Al-Fala's university funding. Okay, now joining us is Okay, of course, that is what we know about Dr. Umar, as his identity is confirmed to match that of his mother's. There was long-winded suspicions about him being the man who was involved in this attack, which has now been confirmed by the Indian government. It is treating it as such. Near that Red Fort in Delhi on Monday, which killed now 13 people and left many in hospital, some in serious condition there. But of course, we are here getting information trickled through very slowly. However, okay, we are now joined by Major General Shashi Asthana. He is a defense expert and he joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, we now know a bit about this man, Dr. Umar Nabi, who was a 36-year-old medical professional and an assistant professor at Al-Fala University. How alarming is it that this trend of radicalization among these highly educated individuals who blend easily into these urban public spaces could possibly carry out something like this?
This trend is not new for the simple reason because if you recall the recruitment pattern of IS and the number of recruitments which they did in Europe, they were all educated people. Similarly, Osama bin Laden was an engineer, Zawahiri was a doctor, Al-Zawahiri. So if such strong leaders or famous leaders can be educated, that means radicalization is not marred by education, or it's not that the education can overcome radicalization, or especially the acute radicalization like these people were. So it's a trend in a manner that certainly the uneducated people are more prone to radicalization and also more prone to lurement for to be radicalized for a terror activity. But the educated lot is being used as a fourth generation warfare, which are self-actuating groups who are convinced in their mind as to what they need to do. They are not the ones who are being lured for money or lured for, or they are a lot who has actually suffered or something like that, because they are the privileged lot with the belonging to the nice or better status of the society. So, but then they carry with them an element of deniability and also lesser chances of being caught because of their access to certain important areas. At the same time, people's access to them. Like for a doctor, anybody can go to him as a patient. So for him to recruit, for him to converse, for him to meet various people is not difficult. Similarly, there is always a trend whenever we talk of radicalization. The educational institutes are always in the forefront because if you see from madrasas, the radicalization was taking place, and you have a raw mind, whole lot of students. Now, in case of medical college, obviously the students are also adults, but notwithstanding that, you have a group available to you for recruitment. So I think the terror agencies also perhaps evolve themselves that sending raw terrorists may be difficult, but then creating sleeper cells with educated people can be lesser risky and more dangerous. Like the case of a doctor being caught for making the poison, that is ricin poison, which perhaps could have caused a biological terrorism of a very high magnitude, never seen earlier. So these are very dangerous trends, but certainly they are not new trends. They did exist. Some models did exist earlier. Back to you.
Yes, and Major General Asthana, of course, the Home Minister, Amit Shah, has ordered a probe into Al-Fala's university funding. Do you think that's the correct move, and what kind of financial patterns typically reveal whether there is a problem there with the institutional funding and being misused for extremist purposes?
Certainly, there is a high probability of the funding, especially the funding coming from abroad, being used for certain, shall I say, illegal purposes. And as we found that this particular institute grew manifold in recent times and has got many companies also affiliated to it. And it was being funded from abroad to some extent. So now this fund flow needs to be checked, and the trail of the terror financing needs to be choked. These two are very important things, and also it's not being. I'm sure the agencies are investigating into it as to how a doctor who was thrown out of the job because of terror links in Jammu and Kashmir got a job in this university. Maybe that they are not having either they are not having appropriate interviews, or maybe if they take the line of the ignorance, that means they are not doing their job properly, or they were in hand in gloves with these terrorists. So I think the authorities in this university also have a lot to answer. And similarly, the probes to many other beneficiaries of foreign investment and foreign aid, I think they also need to be probed because there is, without fund, nothing moves. No terror capsule moves without fund. So obviously, if you can catch the money trail, I think a lot story can be uncovered.
Yes, Major General Shashi Asthana, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. Of course, we'll continue to bring you all the information coming out of that developing story as we get it. Now,